Travelling. Milan. Throughout my Easter holidays I visited Milan, in the north of Italy. I've already visited other incredible Italian cities such as Rome, Florence, and also I'd better not forget Genoa, also in northern Italy. But I'd never been to Milan, and I have to say it's definitely worth it, although unfortunately I couldn't get tickets to go and visit the Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. Since I read the book by Dan Brown, I've wanted to check if all the info that Dan talks about in his book is exact, such as the inclusion of Mary Magdalena by Jesus' right side, apparently her red, flowing hair, delicate folded hands, and a hint of a woman's chest. The Da Vinci Code is a lovely, intriguing book, and I couldn't recommend it more. I just wish I'd gotten tickets, but you must get them in advance, otherwise you can't get in. My husband talked me into travelling at Easter, and after considering Amsterdam, we chose Milan. And walking around, you can see why it's always been a rich and important city. And despite its close proximity to the Alps, which you can see if you get high enough up, it's a quite flat city and not as difficult to walk in as Lisbon, for example. It offers a large range of culture, buildings, some of them with immense statues and arcs. It allegedly took almost 200 years to build the cathedral. It's a solid example of Gothic architecture. Walking in the city is a really beautiful experience, especially when you feel a bit lost in the city, and fortunately you run into one of the nicest streets with incredible houses, amazing. Prices in these kinds of shops are also the most expensive, but if you like shopping, you'll definitely have a lot of fun, even if you don't buy anything. Milan more than deserves its tag of being a world leader in fashion and design. Milan was victim to extensive bombing by Allied forces throughout World War II, suffering heavy damage, and a few months prior to the war's end, Mussolini's corpse was brought to Milan and hung upside down alongside his mistress, Clara Petacci. As many of his enemies had been executed in the very same piazza. Fascist loyalist Achille Starace was taken to